Warrior. It says Christina Mendoza looks like she's competing for a show. Don't know what it is, but she's shaping for a competition. You know, and he says Christina just hasn't made an announcement. Yeah, it's a big thing. Wait on here. Also, this is from Hunter, Big Jane, and Martina. All are all young ladies in the division of women's bodybuilding that has bright futures for all three of them. Yes, they're very impressive because Marina did the Imperial show, which took second to Nadia Capasoto, and I don't know. I thought she might try to do Portugal, but my guess she might do. Somebody said they might want to do the Alina show because that give enough time. Because she was pretty good at the Imperial for the pictures I saw and some videos I saw. Female Bottom Channel were there. I think AJ's gonna be there for the Portugal, and her condition looked a little better than she was at the Triple O Dynasty. Anyway, we have here says, yeah, Big James definitely is packing on the size. And here,
What's his quad size?
hmm,
What's Big James quad size?
I don't know. You got to ask her. Nobody tells you the quad size and the bicep size. You got to ask them. They'll tell me.
You should ask those questions.
They're not that important to me. They usually don't important. They usually don't. Some of them don't even count the quad size.
Yeah, yeah.
So what's the point of asking me if you don't count it? So that's why I do interviews. You still learning. So, do you think Jane Hunter or Martina will qualify for the Miss Olympia this year? I don't know, Warrior. That's up in the air. What's your, like Art? What's your thoughts?
It all comes down to how do they look on competition day, and it all comes down to what the judges are looking for. So it all depends on if they get that win. So
Hmm.
it all comes down to that. So I think all of them have got an excellent chance of it. It just comes down to who's coming who is coming in best on competition day. So I usually don't try to make predictions out front for that reason because things can change on contest day in the blink of an eye. So it just depends on a lot of factors. So, but I think they're all incredible competitors. So I think any one of them can qualify. Just comes down to who's the best on competition day.
Yeah, so like that's one thing. The judges, it's all what you present to the judges.
Right?
If you bring in the better conditioning, like how Cena was at the Toronto, and how Ava, she came in, she was a lot larger. She had that fuller in roundabout in the delts and the shoulders, more lat development. She, there's no offense to Sheena, but Ava looked like a true women's bodybuilder. You know, and that's why they picked her over Sheena. If you looked at the Portugal Pro for the pictures, I think with Nadia, she's still a bit small in the legs, but she has the great lines. If she can bring out a little size, she could probably do good. Now she's not invited to the Rising Phoenix. She can focus squarely on the Olympia. Um, with Jane, you know, truthfully, she's at the size, but the condition is the thing she needs to improve on. You know, and also look at someone like I got a picture here of Anastasia. It's a picture of her. She is. I mean, I
Yeah.
mean, I I think she could possibly. It's going to be a battle between her and Sherry. Truthfully,
Yeah. Yeah.
I know they mentioned the other lady in there. Jay looks pretty good, but Jay is a bit. I think one issue is always say that her midsection is really blocky. She just need to come in more tight and more have more of that V taper. But she always has good muscle development, especially with the upper body, the shoulders, and in the arms. Um, you know, but it's about what they're gonna bring to the show. That's the big thing about it. Um, Here, this is from man. This is from
Warrior 2000.
Yeah, Warrior 2000. You know, my computer's getting slow. I don't know why I want to do that sometimes. It says, this is from Inbox. It says, possibly Martina. Didn't she win or place high at a show earlier this year? She took second at the Imperial show, but that was it. You don't have point system anymore. So there's no point to place second at a show. You don't have the point system. This is from where he said, "Do you think?" Yes, yeah. I say, this is from where it says, "It's just me, or does Ava Mello look like Judah Wetzel a little bit with the same hairstyle, but the difference is Ava is bigger size and she has better conditioning." Hmm. You know, what you think? You know, when you gentlemen, like, well, I'll say Art. And KL, you can give your thoughts.
On Ava?
Yeah.
Oh man, you had to ask that. Because Ava to me, all right, let's see. Let me give a disclaimer. I don't have anything against Ava, personally. But there are a lot of controversy around her, going back to her competition history. When she was competing at North Americans, when she got her pro card there, I remember seeing a story. I'm not going to give her name because she didn't give me permission and I don't want her to get in trouble for this. But she posted on her story that she was really upset. This is a top level IFBB pro female bodybuilder and a multiple time Olympian who was saying this, and she was saying, yeah, she got it, but she didn't earn her pro card. And I DM'd her directly and I said, what are you talking about? Because I had no idea this was going on. Because apparently Ava, in a post over on Instagram, had said that she had no prior show experience. And that raised my eyebrows because you have to have competed at a national qualifier in order to be able to get on a national level stage. So if she had no prior show experience, then that meant that she shouldn't have been able to get on the North American stage in the first place. So I DM'd her back and said, yeah, there's something really wrong with that. But then I went back over to the same post and she said that she had no prior national show experience. She changed the post. Then she went on an interview with AJ and JB over on Female Bodybuilding Channel, and they asked her that question too. And she said that, well, she had competed at a small show in Utah. When something looks kind of sketchy with me, I tend to go back and I do my own research. So I went over to the official NPC Utah website. I looked up the shows that they have there, and I cross-referenced them with the shows over in NPC News Online. Ava doesn't show up in any competitor list for any show in Utah from the beginning of 2022, from the beginning of 2020, all the way up to North Americans in 2022. So, according to the evidence, she still doesn't have a national qualifier. So, how
Hmm.
does somebody who didn't compete in a national qualifier get on a national level stage? Because then, for me, that calls into question the North Americans win, her getting the pro card, and consequently, this win at Toronto and her going to the Olympia. So,
Hmm.
how did all of this take place? I don't pretend to know all the details about it, I just know what I've researched. So, if somebody can clear that up for me, I'm all ears. I mean, I
Oh.
think she looks fantastic. Make no mistake about it. She came in like gangbusters at Toronto, and I've been following along with her progress. But I gotta ask, it's like how did she get on a North American stage if she had no national qualifier? And
Oh, okay.
that's been a question for me ever since.
Yeah, because you have.
Because if she doesn't, because in fact, hold on a second, let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me get let me
Yeah, we
pull
got some
up some of
pictures
her
here.
information.
I think, like I said, you have to get to a nationals. You have to win a regional show.
Right. You have to
And
you either have to have placed top five in one of the national level shows in the previous year, or You have to place top two in the open class of your division at one of the national qualifier shows.
Hmm.
So let me pull up. I'm going to send you copy of her contest history over at NPC News Online, so you can see what I'm talking about.
Hmm. Yeah. Here we got a comment from uh, Remember, says it's about who you know. Yeah, it could be big. Who you know, or it's not like sometimes there's always well, remember the piece is not about not who you know, it's who you do too. So also, this is from Warrior who says Ava looked nervous in her pro debut. Toronto show when she did her routine to hopefully she finds her courage to not be so timid on stage. Art has he sent me the link. Let's see. Um,
So if you go down to
okay.
her contest history, she should have three shows. She should have the supposed national qualifier, her win at North Americans, and the Toronto show. So if you look up her contest history, you see the North American win, and then you see the Toronto win. But where's her national qualifier?
Hmm. All right, we
See,
go
that's what
here.
doesn't that doesn't make any sense.
Hmm. Well, sometimes I've been gone to this site, and sometimes I've seen competitors. Some of them don't have all their shows. I don't know why. Sometimes it happens. I've known
Right,
ladies who.
and I thought that as well. That's why I went over to the NPC Utah website. I also contacted them directly via email just to cover my bases and make sure. It said, okay, are there any other shows in Utah despite the ones that you're showing here? And they said no, aside from one more. I said, these are the only five shows that are allowed. I was like, okay. So I went through and I looked everything up. And then, like I said, I cross referenced them with what they have over here on NPC and they match. She doesn't show up.
Hmm.
So that's what I'm trying to figure out. Now, if I have fucked up some way, I'm all ears as to find out how I did so, because I don't pretend to be perfect. But that's why it's hard for me with Ava, is because hearing that um, from this person posting in her story that long ago, and then talking with her directly, and then going and doing my research, it's like, how is this happening? So
Hmm.
that's what's confusing me.
Hmm. Yeah. Uh, this is from a man inbox. He says, laughing my ass off, George. And he says, uh, no comment. Also, this is from Warriors. Says maybe some political affirmative action from someone high up to give Ava Mello some special treatment for somebody high up in the IB NPC, possibly. Who she know, like I said, it's about not who you know, it's also who you do. Also, you bring up interesting point art. Yeah, that's the question. But his thing is, she's already Olympic qualified. She's already a pro. I don't. In some cases, I don't know. Some shows you can pay in to do a national. I don't
I
know.
don't think it's possible at all. That's why I think, and it wasn't just this particular person. There are quite a number of people who were upset that this had happened. I guess they just let it go water under the bridge for them. But I mean, even if it was political, it shouldn't have happened at all. I mean, she
Mm,
should have to follow the rules. That's why this particular IFBB pro is complaining, is because, hey, I never got that. I never got that when I was going to get my pro card. I had to go through all the motions. How does it not happen here?
mm.
So
Well, like I said, there's a lot of mysteries. Like how some women with a show and they just even come in better conditions than others. Judging sometimes is effect, but also I think because she has a particular look, they want to push more of the girls who look more feminine, who have the great muscle. They want the ones that really represent to get more teacher women's bodybuilding. It could be, you know, uh, anything. It could be somebody in the PCIFB, a promoter who sees potential. They want her to be the new star. You're not gonna shake a shine off my star. That's Andrea Shaw. Um, This is from a man, Stephen Prey says, look at the interview Ava did behind the muscle. Um, if
I
you
know what
haven't,
he's I know what he's talking about. It's a podcast called Behind the Muscle. And I had been looking for other podcasts with her. The only one that I had known of was the one that Female Bodybuilding Channel had done with her. But I'll go ahead and check that out.
yeah. Well, one thing I said, I can't post any videos of Field Body Channel interviews because they gave me a thing because they hey, you should give me opportunity to share your stuff, but you know what, fuck it, even
Yeah.
though JB come out here by every other time, um,
I thought they was your boys.
hey, that's what you think. Ward 2000 says Jim Mannion and Tyler Mannion probably should do a background check on Ava. Well, they're not going to do that because you know what? If it's not particularly like someone like they more focus on certain divisions, bikini and wellness. They're not going to do too much focus on the women's bodybuilding as much. You know. Also,
Unfortunately, no. Yeah, you're
full
right.
back, yeah,
Oh,
full background check. Yeah, they're not going to do it. They're not going to, if it's anybody else, they might, but they're not going to invest the time into Ava's qualification. She's there already. She got her pro card. That situation happened. It was at the North Americans where Hannah Hussein and Michelle Bogdan had to fight for there because they say that the rule was that if you win in your class, you know, you get your pro card. That was
right.
the yeah.
And and that's really confusing to me because I mean the show was under the auspices of both NPC USA, but it was also NPC Worldwide, and the rules are different depending on those organizations. NPC Worldwide has the minimum 5 competitor rule, where they say you have to have minimum 5 competitors to be able to have a pro card, and then there's only going to be one that's handed out for the overall winner. But like you said, George, NPC USA, their rules said all class winners get pro cards. And that was the discrepancy, is because the judges went with NPC worldwide rules, which is why originally they didn't have them. But then Hannah and Michelle brought up this fact with NPC USA, and then that's how they got their pro cards. That's why if you look at the picture of them getting their pro cards, they're in regular clothes. They're
Yeah.
not. That's what they said. So so it's like that confuses me. It's like I even brought that up and said, okay, we've got this exact situation coming up with nationals this year. Same situation. Whose rules do we go with there?
Like
It's confusing to me because it's like you got two organizations that both have auspices at the same show, but they have different sets of rules. So who trumps who?
and then you got to figure this: when you have the nationals, all but women's bodybuilding, they top two get their pro card. Because remember I interviewed Amanda Santos. She was doing both physique and women's bodybuilding. She got a pro card in women's physique. She took second to Anastasia Ryder in the of it was heavyweight division, and but you get a pro card because, like I said, well, I was going to use the excuse that not enough competitors. But you had, I know, ladies who I interviewed, Candy, also Jimmy Hart. There was at least over 7 women in that class, and and you can look at the other divisions where they all feel stacked. You had at least enough that they gave our two pro cards. You remember I interviewed both Shannon Burgess and her sister Tamika Turka, and they both got their pro cards. They took second in there. I think I'm trying to remember if Shannon won in her won the class, but didn't get the overall. And I think Tamika won her class, but didn't get the overall. And Shannon, I think she took second in her class. I'm trying to remember. It's been a while. Here we got here for a man. Uh, Ava from Pittsburgh. I doubt they will. So she's from Pittsburgh. Okay. So, and Warrior says, yeah, probably right. So we got some controversy here. And it's like, that's something, controversy in the world of bodybuilding. Yeah, it's just something. It needed, because it needs some attention. This is something a mystery. But like I said, Art, I respect your sources, and I understand keeping. I can understand too about keeping, sources. A lot of people tell me stuff, and I wouldn't tell to anybody else. I try to keep their confidence because sometimes these ladies don't want to be blacklisted. We meet at KL. We're doing an interview with Samuel Allham. He mentioned how when Kay Baxter didn't like the criteria for women's bodybuilding, and she speaked out against it, then they kicked her out. Kay had amazing physique. I think she could have been Miss Olympic contender in the future. But
Yeah,
you
and she was, and it was upsetting finding out about Kay, because I mean, that's the thing about women's bodybuilding, that even in the women's bodybuilding community, there's been this philosophical argument that's been going on ever since the 70s, ever since the late 70s, ever since it started, as to what direction female bodybuilding should go. You got people like your K Baxters who say, hey, we should be able to develop our physiques to the maximum limit. Femininity rules and such like that be damned. And then you've got the other ones who say, "Oh no, we should have to rein it in. This is after all female bodybuilding, and it shouldn't. And the women shouldn't be looking like the men." If you watch the movie Pumping Iron 2, there are quite a number of things about the movie that you can critique, but the thing that stands out for me is that you see this philosophical argument being played out between the likes of Rachel McLish and Kay Bax and
Francis.
Bev Francis, yeah, and you see the two of them, you see their two philosophies mentioned, and that's been going on now for 50 years. Kay just squarely put herself in the category saying, no, this is women's bodybuilding. We should be able to go. This is bodybuilding. Not beauty building. We should be able to go as far as you want. That was why her motto was get built without guilt. And that's why
Mhm.
she pointed that out. So,
I think a good example of somebody I'm gonna pull up here that fits that model is Michaela Acott.
yeah, I
And
agree.
Michaela, we don't know what show she's gonna do. She might do Atlanta again, or she might do Tampa, where she's already
Like
champion
a
at.
freak of nature.
Hmm?
It's like a freak of nature.
And remember, she's really short. She's
Yeah.
not even 5 feet tall.
It's like a
Yeah,
female Wolverine.
Wolverine's a little taller than Wolverine's 5'3", but yeah, I can see it. She,
Isn't Anastasia shorty too?
yeah, I think Anastasia.
She's really not that tall.
I think
So
she's like 5 feet, maybe 5'1".
yeah, and that's like the ideal physique for female bodybuilding because you got those
Yeah,
short bones.
yeah, because you look at another one, Angela Yo. She's like 5'3". Anything usually the shorter girls. Anything below 5'5", they can really pack on muscle. You
Right.
know, uh, Andreas is 5'5". She hits that kind of like almost that borderline right there. Uh,
I think that's what isn't someone who I guess struggles because of her height. Angela Nouri, you had
mhm.
her as a guest. How
Yeah,
tall is she? I think she's like, is she
she's
near 6 foot or almost
she,
6 foot?
she's
Yeah,
she's 5'11". She's
yeah,
five
she's
eleven.
up there. So because I see her standing over everybody up there online, so it's so much harder when you have those long bones like that to build serious to get those really big full muscle bellies.
Yeah, and another lady who I interviewed, Aubrey Meyer. Aubrey's 6'2".
Wow.
I mean, and she hangs out with Maria Lieberman, and they're like, I tell them, say like, y'all like, you remind me of the movie Twins. We hang out
Right.
together,
Right.
and
Exactly.
yeah, because Aubrey's husband, he's short, and Maria's husband's really tall. Y'all can exchange husbands. Because her husband is a short Indian dude. He's a I think Indian descent. Her and Aubrey's husband is a tall white dude. It looked like y'all could interchange husbands. You know,
Yeah.
it was
Prior to finding out about Angela, the tallest woman that I knew in bodybuilding was Zoa Lindsay, because she was 5'10", 5'11", packed. I mean, but I mean, she had packed on very serious muscle. So she'd been working very, very long time, very, very hard. She competed at the 2008 Miss Olympia, but boy, it's just a testament to her work ethic because the second she was done with that routine, she collapsed
Ooh.
backstage because she had been having serious back problems prior to going on there. So when you see her on that routine, when you see her posing like that, she is in excruciating pain when she's out there on the stage. And she said, there's like people were saying, no, don't go out there. She said, this is the Miss Olympia. This is what every female bodybuilder dreams of. I'll be damned if I'm not going to go out there. So
Yeah.
she didn't do very well, but kudos to her. And I had the opportunity to meet Zoa in person. Absolute sweetheart of a woman, tall, like I said, tall. Her husband, Big Joe Kumzak, he's like 6'3", 6'4". So I'm like in the land of the giants with the two of them because they're both so tall. But yeah, that prior to meeting Angela, Zoa was the tallest woman that I had met
Well, and
in women's bodybuilding.
the one of the tallest women that was in the pros was Nicole Bass. I think actually Aubrey's 6 feet. Nicole was 6'2".
Oh, that's right, Nicole Bass. You're right. She
Yeah,
was 6 foot at least.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She was a giant. I mean, and she really was the hard part for a long time was trying to put on that because she was so lean, and she really had to um put on a lot of size to compete with some of these women. She only
Yeah.
did like she did one couple of pro shows before she retired. She spent so many years in the NPC working her way up, and then she, got a pro card. I think she did was it '97 was her first and only Miss Olympia she ever did. And after that, she was retired and she started doing the wrestling. She passed away. We had here a comment from my man Warrior says it's highly questionable of how she surpassed the Nationals, but we got a look forward ahead on how she will do at the Miss Olympia. It's a possibility. Also, we have here from Warriors says Mikaela Acock definitely is one of the most top super rated conditioned women in the entire IFBB women's bodybuilding division. I believe she is. I think, yeah, Also, we have a comment from a man M Bison that says, "Wasn't Lisa Lewis 6 feet bodybuilder? No, she was like 5'10".
But she
Body.
was big. Her competition weight was like 180, 190. Her off season was around 200, 210. So she's a really big girl.
Yeah,
She's a
she was.
really big girl. They just posted over on a female bodybuilding channel a clip of her. I can't remember what show it was, but yeah, Lisa was massive. Lisa was a very big girl. Then
Yeah, I
also
mean,
also Monique Jones. My nickname for her was Big Mo Jones because
yeah,
she that was amazing hearing her. She was around what 5. I want to say
10.
5'9", 5'10",
Yeah,
and it was amazing. She was talking in an interview. She downsized, downsized to 195. So
mm,
she was up there in like the 220 range. Well, for her off season. So it's like really, really big girls. But I mean, really impressive because I had the opportunity to meet Monique in person. Wow. In a word, wow. She was a big girl. One of the
yeah,
best backs in women's bodybuilding.
yeah. Because
So,
she lives in South Carolina. Because and she works with Trey Hodge. Also, I know I interviewed a couple ladies that also work with her. There was she was talk. They was hoping her to come back, but I think she's fully investment into being a coach and a trainer. I think she's fully retired. We never know because it was she took that it was that year when they was pushing out women's bodybuilding. She stepped back for a bit for 2 or 3 years. She came back, won the first year of the muscle the Romanian Muscle Fest, and then there was that year when there was when they had most muscular. She was competing. They gave to Andrea. I like Andrea, but that should have been, you know, that should have been Monique's. She was most muscular. I like Andrea, but if anybody was most muscular, it was Monique Jones. There's no
yeah.
doubt about that. Um, Here, this is from my man in Boston. I forgot about Nicole Bass, RIP. Yeah, and also this is from a man. Some said pretty copied that. And he said, you know, if he said this is, he said, Lisa was 5'10". This 5'10", yeah, you know. But like I said, we're still waiting. The list is not going to be out till late this evening for the Portugal Pro. I don't know all the. It's like, know some of the ladies who do physique. Not all of them. Like I said, house names announced. One lady who is on the list is possibly competing is Carolyn Alvarez,
Okay.
and we hadn't seen her since I think last year. I think she Olympic qualified, but she just I don't know what I think it was issue with the last couple of times. I think one time when she was qualified, it was during the height of the COVID era, so she didn't make the show. And then she was qualified 2022, she didn't make it, and she was qualified last year. And the question is, what's the holdup? I understand that the cost. I mean, I saw a video where she was in traffic trying to get donations that year when she was qualified the first time. But those they can fly you out, but the thing is, everything is on your shoulders after that.
Yeah, it gets back to what we've been talking about, the expenses of shows. So
Hmm.
I can only imagine. I mean, hats off to Sherry because I mean all the money that goes into a single contest prep, and then include with that international airfare, which is not cheap. I mean, but like you said, if they fly you out, but still you got to get a hotel and such like that. Hopefully they've got that arranged for them. I'd be surprised if they did, but it would be nice if they did. So is Julia Forey going to be competing in any shows this year?
That's another one we're waiting on too. I would think she might try to do the Alina show, or she sometimes she comes over here and compete. But she competed at Tampa. I think she was top five in Tampa last year.
Hasn't
And
she competed in Romania as well? A couple of times,
mm,
I think.
I
I'm not
can't
exactly
remember.
sure.
No, I don't think she competed in Romania. I know she did Europa Championship the year before, last
Maybe
year.
that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, she did
Maybe
Europa
that's what I'm
Championship a
thinking
couple of
of.
times, but not the Romania. Uh, the best bet for her is probably try to do either Romania or the Linda show. You know, I look the show in Anaheim. I don't know if it's I think it's gonna be qualification for this year because I think they stop qualification after that second week of September for the Olympia because this is October, and I
Hmm.
think the
Okay.
Lena show is the first of September. I think the deadline for Olympic qualification stops right after that first week because it's going to be about the end of August by the time the Alina show starts. And then you have the Rising Phoenix, which is the 24th in August. And you can top three competitors are qualified. That means, if you have Angela and Andrea in the top two, whoever else who's not qualified by winning the show can get that spot. Because the thing is always about the Rising Phoenix. You know, if you have Andrea Shaw winning it, you're not going to qualify for the Olympic. It's an Olympic qualification show, but as long as the champ's there, no one's going to get the opportunity to qualify, or any other competitors who's already got the qualification.
Yeah.
Now, one person I think we're wondering is a couple of more. Like this is most of the ladies in the list for the Rising Phoenix. We still have Rashada Boswell. It's say Michaela's one. Um, there's also Irene Anderson, and also I think Mela Ash, and I think a couple more. I can't think of off my head. There's so few shows. It's only like I was listening. There's only 7 shows left for qualification if you count.
Right.
Portugal this week. The next weekend you have um, the Atlanta show, Chicago, Tampa. Then there is the Lena show, and I don't know if they will count the Rising Phoenix for because it's going to be 24th. But that's still in August, and the show in Anaheim, I think that's for next year, and
Well,
the Muscle
you've
Festival
also
next year.
there's another one though. They sprung that one all as well. The Titans Grand Prix.
That's the one we're talking about,
That's
Anaheim.
all right, right.
Yeah.
And then there's the Europa before that. There's the Alina before that. So now
The Europa Championship is gone.
what's that now?
Europa Championship is gone.
No, it's not what I'm talking about. Alina Popa Classic.
Alina Popa, that's what you talking about. But you said Europa, yeah. But yeah, Alina Popa, that's that first September. So
Wait a second. The Europa Pro has now been canceled because it's
it's
still on the schedule.
the Imperial. What is the
No,
Imperial took the place? Is it still on the schedule? Let me pull it up.
no. I'm talking about the Europa Pro on September 14th
Let
in
me.
London.
That's they don't. I don't think they have in women's. They have in women's physique.
No, they